on the way.
BoogeyMan band coming round the bend. Is BoogeyMan band. Is BoogeyMan band.
Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends, and thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. This is a BoogeyMan break time segment. This is something that I do from time to time where I focus on something non-horror related. It's not something I do all the time. Haven't done one of these since December of last year. But today I'm going to be talking about Bad Boys Ride or Die, the fourth film in the Bad Boys franchise, a franchise that I absolutely love. I've been a fan since April 7th of 1995. I took a friend of mine named Mary on a date to see it. We went with a couple of her friends to see the original Bad Boys just a week before my 21st birthday. And just this past weekend, got my ticket right here, took my niece and my brother-in-law and my wife to go see the new Bad Boys film. Just turned 50 this year, so this series has been in my life for nearly 30 years, which is absolutely insane. And much like Beverly Hills Cop, maybe not to the degree of Beverly Hills Cop because I was much younger when I saw those films and those had a huge impact on my life, but the Bad Boys franchise has also had a huge impact on my life. I was a huge fan of Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Knew Martin Lawrence from movies like Boomerang and, of course, the House Party movies, Def Comedy Jam, the Martin series. Was a fan of Will Smith from DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. His rapping, was a big fan of his music. And then, of course, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So when they got together with Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, this was one of the last films that the late, great Don Simpson produced, and Michael Bay, who was known for music videos at the time. And I just remember seeing the trailers for this and the music. And because Beverly Hills Cop 3 turned out, even though I appreciate that film and it's one of, it's in my favorite franchises, Beverly Hills Cop 3 didn't have the feel of the first two Beverly Hills Cops, and I felt like Bad Boys did. And Bad Boys felt like, a Tony Scott film, even though it was Michael Bay that was directing. Just the camaraderie between Will Smith and Martin Lawrence was just so amazing, and it's carried on through, 3 decades and 4 films. It is just, their chemistry is incredible, and I really think it's what solidifies this franchise as a success. And as we've seen this past weekend, Bad Boys Ride or Die had a huge box office. Worldwide, it's already made $104 million on a $100 million budget, made $56 million just in this country alone, and I think it just goes to show that Hollywood really needs to focus on movie stars. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are movie stars. And I feel like in the last 20 years, the movie star has gotten sort of foggy in terms of it used to be that it was like you went to see these movies because of these actors like a Tom Cruise or Will Smith or Eddie Murphy or, Jim Carrey. That's what made these films, the openings where people were fans, Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Bruce Willis, I feel like now this generation doesn't have those superstars like I did growing up. And I really do think it's important for Hollywood to invest in people instead of just technology. And that's what I'm going to say about that. But I'm really really happy for the makers behind this. This was Will Smith's first real big movie since everything that went down at the Oscars in 2022 between him and Chris Rock, which was a really kind of a ding on his character in terms of the way he reacted to a joke about Jada Pinkett that Chris Rock made. I was really shocked that Will Smith went to that, that he did that in front of a huge landscape like the Oscars that was telecast all over the world. I was just surprised that he did that, but it looks like he's had some personal things going on in his life, and I'm hoping he's getting the help that he needs because I really respect him. And I respect Chris Rock too, and I think Chris Rock handled it beautifully. But I'm hoping that all sides have come to some kind of peace and they can move on from it at this point. And I'm really happy that this movie was a success for Will because a lot was riding on it. I loved it. It's my favorite film of the year so far. I had a blast. I've loved this franchise for so long, and it really does feel like, it's kind of like one of those things that just makes you feel, it's like a comfort movie, even though it's action and humor. It's all the things that I loved about this franchise, and then taking it a step further by adding an element of like The Fugitive into it. And I thought that Adil and Bilal did another great job of, doing some different things with the action and the directing style. And Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, again, were on top of their game. And I thought everything just came, everything just worked in this film for me. And I really did love the supporting cast. Of course, you have Vanessa Hudgens and Alexander Ludwig coming back, as well as Paola Nunez. The new villain, played by Eric Dane, was really well done. I really loved seeing Armando back in this. Jason Scipio, who played in Bad Boys for Life, and you find out that he's Mike Lowry's son. The thing that was a little bit different for me in this one was Tasha Smith as Teresa Burnett. Many people might, and people may or may not know this, but Teresa Randall, who played Teresa Burnett through the first 3 films, did not reprise her role. No disrespect to Miss Smith, who took her place, but it just was odd to see Marcus talking to a different actress playing that character. That was the only thing that was off, but so much of this film is just absolutely bombastic and fun. It's a lot more, I feel like Bad Boys for Life was a lot more somber in some of its storytelling, whereas this one was a lot more fun. There were some sad moments, and there were some moments that, you know, really made the characters more human than they had been, especially in like Bad Boys 2. But there's some just hilarious moments in this, and a lot of stuff that I don't want to spoil that probably already has been spoiled on YouTube. But all I can say is that Bad Boys Ride or Die was what I needed. It was the prescription I needed to a kind of a dull movie going slate right now. There's just not a lot that's really jumping out at me. I do want to see Furiosa, but nothing else is really jumping out at me. And this was really just hearkening back to the movies that I looked forward to every summer from my youth, going to see these with my friends, and I can't believe that these movies are still so good. I love all 4 Bad Boys films. There's not one bad one. There's not one bad one in the bunch. The way that I could sort of, you know, rate them if people were interested is because I rewatched all of them before seeing the new one. And when I rewatched the original Bad Boys, I think what works so well in that one, again, is the chemistry of these 2 guys that were known for sitcoms, pretty much what they were doing at the time. I mean, Martin had done a few movies, and Will had done like 6 Degrees of Separation, and he had done Where the Day Takes You and things like that, but he hadn't like catapulted. So, I mean, Bad Boys is what made him a superstar. But you know, I just, you know, the camaraderie between the 2 of them is just so fluid. And Michael Bay's direction, whether you like Michael Bay or not, I just thought worked. And the soundtrack was so good for the first movie. That's one of my favorite soundtracks, is that soundtrack for the first film. You have Diana King, you have Tupac, you have so many great artists on that soundtrack. And again, you know, it's a very simple story. It was originally supposed to be Dana Carvey and John Lovitz playing the characters, which is crazy, but very, very true. That's who the original Bad Boys script was written for. And I just really just had a blast going back and rewatching that. I also love Téa Leoni in it. She does a terrific job. It was one of the first times I saw Michael Imperioli, who would take off with The Sopranos. Mark Helgenberger is a huge fan of Joe Pantoliano. He's terrific as Captain Howard, another character that I absolutely love. With Bad Boys 2, I feel like Bad Boys 2 just amps everything up to 100. And to be as much as I love all the films, Bad Boys 2 will always be my favorite. I just love that. It's my favorite villain, and Johnny Tapia. He's amazing in it. And just the chase scenes in that, especially the scene on the causeway with the Jamaican guys that are throwing the cars off the truck at them, and Mike and Marcus are in his Ferrari dodging them. That whole scene, I still think, is one of the greatest chase scenes in cinema history. But everything in that film is just absolutely fantastic. The shootout in Cuba at Johnny Tapia's mansion. There's so much great stuff in that second movie, and it just, as I rewatched all of these, I'm like, yeah, Bad Boys 2 is still, because it's so un-PC, I mean, the critics hated it when it came out. So un-PC, so in your face, so huge. It's just so much fun to watch, and I just have such a blast watching it. I love everything about that film, and when we get to Bad Boys for Life, what was different for me is the fact that, you know, I had aged 17 years. The second one came out when I was 29 years old. The next one wouldn't come out until I was almost 46 years old. And the beginning of it, Mike getting shot and almost dying, just really put a different tone on Bad Boys for Life. And I felt like it was a much more somber tone than we had gotten with the first 2. Even though there was moments of it, especially in part 1, part 3, Bad Boys for Life, has so much more, heart in it. And I think that Adil and Bilal really did a great job, like I said, of bringing us back into this world, but showing a much more, a much more seasoned Mike and Marcus from where we had left them in the second film. That age was catching up to them, that they were becoming grandfathers, that they were having, questioning, their choices in life, things like that. I mean, I think it's just such a really great human story, as well as a great action film. And then with the new one, I feel like they took all of the amazing elements of those first three films and put them all into one package, as well as including, moments of like The Fugitive and things like that. I just had a great time with it. There's some terrific moments in this new film. I think Martin Lawrence is absolutely hilarious. I think this is the funniest he's been across the four movies. He kills me in the new movie in Bad Boys Ride or Die. And I love seeing what happened to Will Smith's character of Mike Lowry last couple films and where he is. And there's almost kind of very similar to what they did with the first Bad Boys movie. There's kind of a switch where Marcus becomes the reckless one and Mike is becoming the more, reserved, kind of cautious one. All I can say is go out and support it. Go out and support Bad Boys Ride or Die. I had so much fun with it. I love this franchise. I love the characters of Mike and Marcus. Maybe we'll get another one. I mean, this movie looks like it's going to be a gigantic hit this summer, and I'm very happy for all involved. I think everybody did a terrific job, and I really look forward to see what they're going to do next with this franchise. So let me know if you guys are fans of the Bad Boys franchise. Let me know your favorite one down in the comments section below. Would love to hear from everyone. And as always, thanks so much for stopping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. Talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Peace. Hey, my fellow Fright Fiends, I just want to thank everyone for supporting BoogeyMan Ben's Horror Zone. If you haven't yet subscribed and you'd like to, please hit the subscribe button down below. Click the bell notification so you're updated every time I drop a new video. I try to drop a video at least once or twice a week. The Horror Zone is a passion of mine, and it really makes me happy that I can share that passion with all of you guys. Thanks so much again for the support, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Peace.